I've been mad busy, hella busy, but I've managed to pattern some work, so my schedule's a bit lighter now, you feel me? But other than that, the week's been good, you know? The week's been good.
No, that's good.
What about you?
My week's been alright. It's literally just been trying to keep busy. I've not, like, wrestling, I'm not going to lie to you. We'll talk about Raw in a second, because I'm not going to lie to you. Fam, because I'm not going to lie to you, I haven't watched Raw live in ages. Like, when I say ages, maybe for the best part of a year.
I feel you.
I haven't watched Raw live in the best part of a year. So I just thought to myself, you know what? Let me just watch it. What's the worst that can happen? Put it on now. I see Drew do his promo. It was a decent promo. Then I see the screen going crazy. Then I see Retribution attacking people in the production cart. And then
Retribution, oh my days.
And then I was just like, okay, what's next? Then I see, was it Shelton Benjamin and Apollo? Yeah, Shelton Benjamin versus Apollo. I watched a bit of that, and I said, wait, hold on. I'm not gonna lie to you, I can't watch this anymore. They've got Shelton Benjamin moving like he's Nunzio. They've got man just being thrown around like one reckless jobber. So in my head, I was like, yeah, you know what? This is the reason I stopped watching this. Let me just go and watch NBA, and I just stuck to NBA.
Man said NBA, you know.
So let me go and watch basketball, because I'm not gonna.
So what?
This is ridiculous.
So what? WWE's lost a fan now.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like they've lost a fan, but in the same breath, it's like I should have known better. And there's a reason I stopped watching it live in the first place. There's a reason I don't even watch highlights anymore. I just literally keep up on Twitter, but I've thought, you know what? Raw Underground has been like a staple. Let me tune in to see that. And the first 30 minutes of Raw, I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I can't do this anymore. I'm done.
I'm with you on that one.
Absolutely done. We're recording, by the way, so yeah, we started. Just wanted to ease it in a little bit. But welcome, everybody. This is a new episode of WRESTHINGS podcast by the Mandem for the Mandem. Joined by the Mandem, would you like to introduce yourself?
Just go. Your VRSY, your mic's mute, but I'll go first anyway. Yo, it's Young Laps, aka The Laps, aka I'm still working on my promo, but we'll get there eventually. You know, welcome to the WRESTHINGS podcast. You know, we're gonna talk on someone smoking. We're gonna talk that real crud tonight. And, you know, just sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah, Del Boy, Guap Daddy. I actually can't be asked to do the long intro today, but you know, you guys know who it is. Big Guap.
It's the return of the mask, man. It's been a minute. It's been about
a minute. We've been
missing me. I'm here. VRSYJNES, Lucha V. You know what I'm saying? We're all good. This is crack on.
This is basically Triple H when you returned back in 2000 to use the denim jacket. Well, we have to come back with a denim mask, man. At the moment, Anafi isn't going to be on today's podcast. He's got some other ventures that he's doing. Black should be jumping on in a bit, and we've got some other people that should be jumping on in a bit. Mandem, where do we start? Because wrestling has been VRSY. Let's chat to VRSY. Ask VRSY. What's VRSY's? How has VRSY been finding wrestling since he's been away from the podcast these last few weeks?
It's been a bit shaky, man. Like I've seen. So I always keep up with AW. So I've been enjoying AW. I've been enjoying a lot of the TNT championship matches with CODY. I saw the one with Scorpio Sky. That was good.
Yeah.
The general build-up between FTR and Young Bucks, I've been enjoying that. Like, AEW just keeps my attention because it still feels fresh. The feud with Orange Cassidy and Jericho, I've been liking it. That's how Jericho can just make anybody into a star and just make any match meaningful. So I've got no complaints really from AEW for the most part. WWE, I'll just say off air, I've been literally watching highlights. Anything with Drew McIntyre, I've been enjoying. I've been enjoying his run like a lot. I don't have any complaints, to be honest with you. Randy Orton's been pretty cool with his promos, but I'm not feeling this whole Retribution thing. It feels like a reborn Nexus.
Yeah.
It doesn't I'm still gonna see where it goes. I'm not gonna completely like crap on it, but first impressions have just been a bit, bit shaky.
Yeah.
And Raw Underground, I like what they're doing. Like they're doing something different, and some people have shined on it. So it's like the Hurt Business. I like what they've done, and even what's his face, formerly known as Babatunde. He's always Babatunde to me.
He's in our hearts. He's Babatunde, fam.
In our heart, of course. Was it? What's his name now?
Fam, I couldn't even tell you. I don't even lie to you.
Babatunde. Man.
It's Babatunde. Yeah, it'll forever be Babatunde.
Babatunde forever. Yeah, I've like seeing him. I've seen Dolph Ziggler like bring back the sleeper and stuff. So
yeah,
I think I like what they're doing. it's just a bit weird with the background music. It just feels a bit. Maybe it's gonna take a while for me to get used to it. But again, just like I said about Retribution, at first glances, I've not really been so like enjoying it as much. But I think where I am with wrestling right now, I've got more, again, while I've not been in the podcast, I've been a lot more busy. So I can only catch what I catch. And if something doesn't catch my attention, I just don't waste my time on it anymore. So, but again, anything Drew's doing, I've been enjoying it. For the most part, with like Sasha Banks and stuff, I've been liking what they've been doing. And I just want to see more Naomi on my screen. That too.
No, I definitely hear that. I even felt like with Naomi, they might have at least pulled the trigger. They recently, was it Smackdown just gone? Where they done the battle royal between all the women from each brand, and they ended up getting Asuka to win. So she's going to be facing both Sasha Banks and Bayley for both titles at SummerSlam. So I thought maybe they might pull the trigger on her. They might even use it they might even use it for Shayna Baszler, or even maybe Bianca Belair, But I'm not really too mad at Asuka. Like, I enjoy Asuka. I love her work. She's probably one of my favorite women on the roster. But we can only take what we're given in it. And she's over at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you see for the SummerSlam match between Asuka versus Sasha Banks and Asuka versus Bayley, like, what's your predictions on that?
I feel like we probably have even spoke about this in terms of like how we'd probably book the feud between. I can't remember. I remember someone saying it. If it wasn't me, then I don't know. It was definitely someone else that said it, speaking about how they think, okay, cool, Asuka's going to face both of them. So maybe Bayley, maybe the SmackDown title will be the first match out of both of the matches. Sasha helps Bayley retain the title, but then when it's Asuka versus Sasha, Bayley fails to help Sasha retain the title, and then maybe a feud kind of emanates from there. But I don't know. Like, what do you men think?
I think I said that a couple weeks ago. I think because it's a quick way to just start the feud and just to show like the kind of selfishness of like Bayley being for herself and that. And it can go either way. It can even be Sasha being the boss.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think this match is going to be just to kick off the feud, really and truly. So I think the opportunity could have been better going towards, like, as you said, Naomi and or Bianca Belair. But again, I'm not too mad. But again, I'm more so it's like I'm holding patience to what happens after SummerSlam for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lax, what do you think?
I'm with you. Firstly, I think one of them's definitely losing a title. And then now one doesn't have the world title. One's going to want the other person's world title. And I'm not saying who's going to lose it or who's going to retain, but one of them's losing it. Asuka's not leaving SummerSlam with both titles. But I would say after SummerSlam, this is going to finally start the feud, I hope, between Sasha Banks and Bayley.
Yeah, I think that makes
Asuka's definitely leaving with the title.
Yeah. I mean, if I was personally booking it, I think if like we're definitely like letting the trigger off for them to start their feud this SummerSlam, then I felt like maybe them losing the women's tag team titles might have been the first step. You'd want things to like like crumble small. You wouldn't just want it to be a thing where it's like, okay, cool, we're building them to just be the strongest two women. There's no issues whatsoever. And the next thing you know, on the actual day of the pay-per-view, that's when the hiccups start. You'd want it to kind of like brew. So you'd want it to, let's say, for example, they've done a battle royal for the tag team title, or not a battle royal, but like they've done a tournament for tag team titles, which women are going to win it. And for me, I would say I'd want someone from NXT to be number one contenders, because it's like they've wanted this title to be a title that travels between each brand, but we haven't really had that much shine on the NXT women's division for that belt. I would have started off there. Maybe have someone, I don't know, a tag team, a women's tag team to beat them for the title, and then that's where it kind of culminates their problems. And then obviously we're seeing the back and forth between them. Like, listen, we may have lost the tag team titles, but we've still got both of our women's titles. Like, we're still fine. Obviously, there's going to be cracks within the friend relationship and whatnot because they've lost the title, and it could potentially be a thing where it's probably, let's say it was Bayley that got pinned, no, Sasha that got pinned. It could be a thing where Bayley starts to blame Sasha, like, you know, even though you lost us the title, but don't worry, we're still going to be fine. Then SummerSlam comes, Bayley retains her title, and then Sasha loses, and then it's a thing of like, see, I'm the superior ones. I never got pinned. You got pinned twice for both titles. So that's the way I would have booked it. But you never know.
No, I think that's good because you kind of want a slow burn as well.
Yeah, exactly.
All the fans really have wanted this match for so long, since their match almost 5 years ago. I'm saying years.
Especially when they got back onto the main roster, and they both got into the main roster, and they did get into like a feud, but it wasn't really the feud that people wanted. Then they ended up tagging with each other. Yeah. It's not. Yeah, it wasn't really the feud that we want. And it's like every year we're thinking, you know what, this is gonna be the time we're gonna get the Bayley and Sasha match. But I mean, on the main roster, we haven't had it yet.
Exactly.
You know what it is? You see this Bayley and Asuka match as well. This Sasha Banks and Bayley feud, it needs to build up Asuka as well, because we need that NXT Asuka back. Not the main roster one, the NXT version back, where she was dominating everyone. So I would say that would be a win if they're able to build her back up to that level again during their feud.
Yeah, man, it has to benefit all three women, because Asuka needs to have a strong challenge to come out of this, and also like Durbo was saying as well, like a small build of like maybe Sasha keeps getting pinned, whatnot, and then she keeps, and like Bayley keeps saying in interviews, it's like, oh well, you know, I don't lose matches, and it's like the little things that happen in like interviews that just make the seed grow. And like you said as well, let them lose the NXT title, the titles to someone from NXT as well, the tag titles, because they made such a big hype about it. And since the champions have come out, what standout match have you seen for the women's tag titles?
I couldn't even tell you.
Probably the first one that happened. And it's almost been 2 years that it's been on the roster, and we've not had any standout, or not even a feud. We've not even had like a feud or a series of matches against two groups of women. It's just kind of just been there in the background. That's props.
You know what? They need to send that women's title to NXT, because it is not doing any good on the main roster.
The thing is, it's not like there isn't potential for it to do well on the main roster. The thing is with WWE, in terms of like the women's division, in terms of like every single company that's going on, WWE has the strongest, and it's like it's a bit of a cheat code. You've got NXT and you've got the main roster. Well, I don't even like to call WWE. You've got NXT, you've got WWE, you've got Raw and SmackDown. So it's not like you've got a bloated roster where there's no way you can't create a successful tag team division. I feel like what they've done is they've just focused way too much on like the NXT women's title, the Raw women's title, and SmackDown's title, and then they haven't really thought about, okay, cool, we've brought this belt, we've only tried to solidify maybe 2 or 3 tag teams instead of creating a whole division. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of women in NXT that if you were to put them, like if you were to create an actual division, you could do so well. Like look at what TNA done years ago with the Knockouts tag team titles. It was innovative. It's not like they're the first people to ever have a women's tag team title, but especially at that time where women in wrestling, they weren't really looked at as anything. We were still in that. We were still in the diva phase in terms of WWE. Whereas now we've got women that are as good as the men, or if not better. So, and a lot of us that are like pure wrestling fans, a lot of us we love tag team matches as well. Like we are tag team fans. So if we were to ever like we used to say that we couldn't get like a tag team classic at NXT with NXT Takeover with the women's title. You know what I'm saying? Like we've had so many classics with the likes of like American Alpha and the Revival. We've had DIY and the Revival. We've had DIY and what's these two guys' names? The one that was with Authors of Pain. Like so, like this is just to name a few. We've had so many tag team classics at NXT Takeover. Who's to say that we couldn't have that with the women's division? And they've got so many wrestlers there.
And there's also a lot of women that's not doing anything. You can put two women together, build a story. Because again, there's not been a storyline for these things. Just make a tournament, get people to come together, and then whoever goes to a pay-per-view, and then the next pay-per-view they get to face. Even like book it in advance, then they can do promos and then you can show. You know what I'm saying? There's so much you can do with it.
Yeah. Nah, I'm with you on that one. All I'm going to say is Tamina is right there. She's right there, and they're not doing nothing with her.
Yeah,
she's a cold wrestler as well.
Yeah, the fact that they haven't pulled the trigger on her, and it's like I feel like her last rival with Bayley, as much as I don't know, I feel like there's something there with Tamina. Like it's not like she's a bad wrestler. She's like we finally like with her her program with Bayley. I feel like we finally got to see how she is like with promos. We've kind of got to see her personality with some of her online stuff that she was doing. It's not like she's bad in the ring, but I mean, I don't know.
Her
they could just make like a women of doom, like you know how Authors of Pain is, yeah. Just Nia Jax and Tamina can win that, and they will look dominant. And think about every single woman that will face will be an instant baby face. They can just blaze through a bunch of women. So whoever beats them, that's a program right there. Like they're both not doing it
easily. I feel like most of the time we always say like, listen, the writing is on the wall. Like we're writing it in big letters, but Vince has got black tinted glasses where he can't see anything. Because it's like a lot of this stuff writes itself. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know.
That's funny. That's true, you know. Literally, I'm not going to lie. There was a time where I wanted to give a story to WWE. Then I read that they don't accept stories of other people. So they've even shut it down that they don't want a free story that can make them money.
Would you like to share us a story?
Nah.
Come on, bro. Drop the exclusive. Come on.
You might have to drop it to like one of these like UK promotions like Evolve, like Progress or flipping ICW or something.
Bro, I think it's
the company you just mentioned. You know, WWE kind of saw them up now.
Oh, what Evolve?
Yeah, Evolve, ICW, and WXW and all that.
It's crazy. Like,
what's your thoughts on?
I mean, it was bound to happen. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like we always say this. I feel like it's the word we always use when it comes to WWE, monopoly. They want to monopolize the wrestling business. And even on the Jobbers Tears podcast, they had this discussion about whether WWE is a monopoly or not. And one of the arguments was that how can WWE be a monopoly? It's not like they're dominating everything. Like when WrestleMania weekend comes up, people are like other wrestling companies are come to that city to still, to still come to make money. And in my head, I'm thinking that doesn't stop WWE from being a monopoly. That just goes to show that WWE is a monopoly, but at the end of the day, these other companies are just using their initiative and saying, you know what, there's a whole weekend where people are going to be down in this state for wrestling. Why not come and showcase wrestling? So take WWE's fans and bring them over here. That doesn't stop WWE from being a monopoly, because at the end of the day, these talents that might go viral during this WrestleMania weekend, and then next year they're going to flipping sign to NXT and going to be assigned to the Performance Center. So, I mean, I think it's a good central place for people that aren't aware of these promotions, or they don't know where to go and watch them. So now there's a central place for them to go and watch it. And at the end of the day, it helps WWE when they're doing vignettes and all these promos. They're gonna have other stuff in the archive that they can potentially go and use. Like
that's true.
The way wrestling has evolved is that, fam, you remember back in like the mid 2000s, you can be a wrestler that wrestled in IWA, you can be a wrestler that wrestled in Ring of Honor, TNA. They do not acknowledge that. As soon as you step into WWE, that's all you've done. Like that's all you've done. Whereas now it's like you can't not acknowledge that. One, with the internet. Two, because we know the reason why you signed that person. Because what you've seen is what the same exact thing we've seen. It's not that back in the day where wrestling, you had to trade tapes and you have to, or that wrestler has to have wrestled in your state for you to kind of get an idea of who that wrestler is. Whereas now the internet is there. Wrestling fans are so internet savvy. A lot of wrestling fans feel like they know everything. So if you've signed up a wrestler, all of us know exactly why you signed that wrestler.
Hi, this is the Superior Cypriot Theodoros, and you are listening to the WRESTHINGS podcast.
I mean, I'm not mad at it, but I mean, it's gonna have to give, because one day we might even see news articles that are WWE are trying to buy New Japan. Then it's like, we need alternatives. We can't just go to WWE for central, just to be the central of all things wrestling.
Exactly. This is what I get. Oh, sorry, that's what you speak.
No, go, my bro, you go.
I think this kind of ties to why when AEW was coming about, what I would always see online was people being like, oh, hoping that they'll fail. And why that's sad is that we need an alternative, because if WWE was to be the monopoly, they have no reason to change, and they will have no motivation to change. They'll be like, well, tough. We are wrestling. Whatever we say is wrestling. And to most people, they are. If you say to the common person, what's wrestling? They'll say, oh, Triple H and Stone Cold and The Rock, because that's how dominant it is in people's minds. And that's fine. But for people like us, for people who enjoy more than just one style of wrestling, that's why, because even around a decade ago, people were saying the same thing about TNA. They didn't want it to succeed. They were seeing it as our low budget. It doesn't have to match it. It just has to be an alternative.
Yeah.
So New Japan and all the have. So this kind of why I've felt okay to break away from the kind of WWE style of wrestling, because it's everywhere. The influence of WWE is felt everywhere. When people weren't calling managers,
it's definitely the biggest. It's the biggest.
It's the biggest. It has the biggest. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So whatever they do, at some point the other companies will follow. Like if they don't say belts, their companies won't say belts anymore.
Yeah.
They say belts again, companies will say belts. So like especially at the start of the year when NWA was out and MLW was running, you know me, I was always watching alternatives, because
yeah, exactly.
It keeps my love for wrestling there, because if I only watch WWE, and as you know, we spending a lot of time watching WWE, covering it, WWE, staying up to 1 a.m. till 4 to watch some thing that just makes you go, why did I stay up for it? You just end up just hating it. And even to your credit, though, like there was a point when me and you was watching it, they would only watch highlights, and now you don't even watch it. No. You if you hear it from the Mandem or from the group chat, oh, that was sick, you'll check it. But your first protocol is like, you know, like I said myself, I ain't got time anymore. So the last thing I want to do is finish like a 12-hour shift, come home and watch flipping, I don't know, see Seth Rollins vomit. You know what I'm trying to say? It's a dickhead thing.
Oh, facts. Facts.
No, at the end of the day, man, it is literally all business. Even though we might see it as bad, to them it's just business, innit? Everyone's goal is to make money nowadays. But I'm with you, like, we do need a strong alternative, because like WWE is boring. Let's be real. Before, back in the day, before WCW, WWE was already on a decline. It's as soon as WCW came and was like legit competition to them, that's when the Attitude Era started. And that was the best era of WWE. WWE is at their best when they have competition. And I'm going to say there's one time and one time only. Vince McMahon is so out of date and he needs competition. Yeah. He doesn't have that drive no more. He doesn't have that fire no more. He don't have it. He doesn't have it the way he used to have it. He needs competition. He needs strong competition. He needs someone that's gonna rattle his foundation. Because let's be real, WWE, they've got the money to do whatever they want. If they want to become like Netflix and have seasons, they can do that. They can make WWE studios again. But right now, they're just bored. Like, I'm not going to say they're bored. Vince, he's just out of touch. He doesn't even...
Bro, speak your truth. Speak your truth. You think they're bored.
Bro, Vince McMahon doesn't even watch wrestling outside of WWE. So how is he getting inspiration? How is he getting inspired to be creative within the field if he doesn't see what's happening outside of his company? Yeah. Like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Vince McMahon is and was a genius, but his ego is a bit too big, bro. Like, watch wrestling outside of WWE. That's why NXT, everyone loves NXT. Because Triple H watches wrestling outside of WWE. That's how he's able to bring in all these wrestlers. He knows who they are. Vince McMahon don't know who they are. You think Vince knew who Ricochet was? You think he knew who Cedric Alexander is? Let's be real. Vince McMahon didn't know who Seth Rollins or Finn Balor was when they first signed. Let's be real. It's because he don't watch wrestling outside of WWE. So I don't know how he's getting inspiration and how he thinks that he's going to be able to keep this up. Eventually, he's just going to be bored. And I think he's getting there already. I think he's getting bored. That's why he tries to start XFL as well.
And to add to that as well, not only is he bored, he's tired, bro. Think about it. At all of these shows, he's there. He's producing the show. He's in people's headsets, telling everyone what to say at every single show. From what, like, that's over, 20, 30 years he's been doing the same thing without a break. Like, that's going to cause fatigue, and that's going to cause following a model.
Bro,
that's outdated, and doesn't mean, and look, it doesn't mean, like, just because he's done great things in the past and there's still great things happening, it doesn't mean we can't critique him. It doesn't mean that we're selling out or we're being edgy and that. We can spade this as a spade. If it's shit, it's shit. If it's good, it's good. And the great point you said as well about he doesn't watch wrestling, because when you're watching, like, it's like with music, yeah? Even though with music, we don't only listen to hip-hop or drill or grime. We always listen to different things, because the more you listen to, the more the more creativity you have, the more experience you are exposed to different styles, and it will turn into your style as well. If I only listen to drill, how can I expect to make some soul song? I can make something from the heart, but it's going to follow the same template because I've only got one source material. You know what I'm saying? All he needs, it doesn't mean he, like, and like you said, when he's forced to through competition, of course he's like, okay, ratings, my money's on the line, the ratings on the line. What are they doing that's working? I'm going to do it myself. And that's the only way if his money is affected or his viewership is affected, he's like, okay, what do I got to do? He'll bring Paul Heyman, he'll bring Eric Bischoff. But the minute he's calm and his money's coming through and there's no issue, he chills.
He gets rid of that.
Yeah.
No, it's facts. Absolute facts.
Bro.
And that's why, like, even in the grand scheme of things, I don't like the whole, like, conversation when people try to say that, TNA wasn't in WWE's eyesight. Of course, they weren't, in terms of, like, viewership and whatnot, they weren't. But let's be real, there was some sort of competition there. They were both taken from each other at one point. So that's why when people always have the argument of, like, WWE haven't had real competition, it's like, okay, we can say that, but then in the same breath, TNA at some points did have WWE on ropes. You know what I'm saying? When
knockouts, the entire knockouts, fam, they had them on ropes. Women, they killed them.
Oh, like when Christian, like, for me,
they killed them.
Like, for me, I knew that, okay, cool. TNA started, okay, cool. It's building momentum. They're bringing in a few. We're seeing stars we've never seen before. We're seeing maybe people that have come from the WCW power plant. But then we've seen some ECW, we're seeing a few people come from Ring of Honor. I think for me, the true moment that I knew that, okay, shit is about to get real, is when Christian came into TNA. So from that point, I was thinking, wait, at this point, this is a star. Like, as much as people will discredit Christian, in 2005, 2004, 2005, Christian was a star coming into TNA at that point. And the next year, or was it 2 years? Yeah, the next year, 2006, when Kurt Angle came in, I said, yo, shit, like, Christian coming in was a big move, but now it is fucked. And it's like, people, like, TNA gets a lot of slack for a lot of their matchup choices, a lot of the bookings. Jeff Jarrett himself, with a lot of the times he used to take the title, but there's no way we can't say that TNA at its prime was one of the most innovative things we've seen on TV. Like, we could watch the Ring of Honor, we can watch the CZW, but in terms of, like, what is more or less in an eyesight of WWE, fam, we were seeing some of the most innovative stuff. In terms of women, I felt like I hadn't necessarily seen women as good as that during that time. The last time I probably saw women that good was probably looking at people like Jazz, looking at people like Victoria. I haven't really seen women that great. Obviously, when you look research back now, like when you do research now, you will see that in the 90s, Japanese women were killing it. Like they were the most innovative. Like in terms of like wrestling as a whole, Japanese women were the most innovative wrestlers ever. Like we can't even, when it comes to innovation in terms of wrestling, Japanese women are up there. You know what I'm saying? So when TNA first came in, like around that period, I was thinking, fam, I might not actually watch WWE again. Like, and there was a lot of people that were like that.
Many times.
There was a lot of people that were like that. Like, you have to deep it that around that period as well. I think this was probably the peak John Cena hate, like 2007, 2008. That was probably that peak John Cena hatred. So when people say that TNA wasn't really competition, I mean, I know people that stayed watching TNA instead of watching WWE, and they only came back to WWE maybe around the time that CM Punk done his
Hype bomb.
Yeah,
bro, I'm one of them. I'm one of them people. Nothing to cut.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
Yeah, I was one of the ones that I just boycotted WWE, and especially after I boycotted wrestling in general after the Benoit thing happened, because that just messed my head big time. But I kept in tabs because everything I saw from 2004 to 2007 with AJ Styles, Chris Sabin, Petey Williams, flipping Kazarian, Sanjay Dutt, like it was just mad, like what they're doing. Ultimate X matches, then the tag team wrestling LAX, and then flipping Awesome Kong and Gail Kim, like literally.
Don't get me started on that feud.
You know how mad that feud was, and then you get ODB, then you get like, come on, it was, and then even when Victoria went to TNA as Tara, like it was mad. It was so sick, and then the tag team, Rosita and Sarita, like they did so many things, like that just made you go like, so what? WWE got the resources, they got the roster, they got the people, and they're not doing this.
They've got the money. They've got the money.
You don't forget that. I would just go to the alternative because it was filling the need that was there, which was something different, not just the status quo of I'm the babyface, I'm always going to win every match. You know what I'm saying? So especially with what you said, like 100%. And I feel like there's a chance that AEW can be the second wave of that. Of like, there's going to be a generation of wrestling fans now that are going to be referring to AEW as the thing that, you know, because the tag team wrestling is big on AEW, and the promos and the kind of unscripted nature of it and the factions and the way it's just presented, it looks on a similar level of WWE in terms of presentation.
Yeah.
But it feels different. So like, for example, like going to TNA from WWE, unless you was burnt out from WWE, you see it as like, oh, what's this? But then obviously you'll see X Division and you're into it. AEW is a quicker, easier switch to drop to from WWE because, again, you've got star power there, you've got free commentators, you've got ring presence, you've got pyro, so it's not like, what am I watching? Like, this is weird. Like, you'd be like, oh, it's another form of wrestling. So
also, it's new as well. Like, you don't necessarily have to do any like research. It's not like you have to, like, it's only been about for a year. So you could, if you wanted to catch up on history, you can do that in less than a day. You know what I'm saying? Whereas with WWE, it's like, okay, cool, you've just joined the product. Then it's now having to know, okay, cool, this title. Oh, okay, how long has this guy been in the company? Oh, what's the history behind this? What's the history behind that? Whereas like AEW's completely a new slate for any type of, like, if you're wrestling, like if you're someone that wants to get into wrestling, I would say, yeah, of course you want to watch WWE. That's the most popular one. But if you don't care about if you're not trying to be, if you're not like us, that you know the ins and outs, watch AEW. Like, if you just want to go and watch wrestling for fun, fam, AEW is the perfect alternative. Like, I do have my gripes with AEW, and that's one thing I do want to get on to.
Yeah, man,
so
go for it.
I've been seeing in the last few weeks that there's been a lot of conversation in terms of like the women's division. So a lot of people I've been seeing online, yeah, the women's division is getting a lot of slack. So I want to know what your lot's opinion on the women's division is so far.
Bro,
I feel like it's similar to mine, but
I feel like AEW's women, I don't know much about it, and I feel like that's because they don't really show it enough. There's no high-profile feud in the women's division. All AEW needs to do is copy TNA's blueprint from the women's division. They even got one of the superstars on their roster, Awesome Kong. All they need to do is copy their blueprint that TNA made, because TNA, their women's division, underrated. Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong, that's TNA, one of TNA's greatest feuds. I don't care what anyone says, it's top 5. It is top 5. And I think AEW, they just need to copy that blueprint. Like, it's literally there for them to copy. And no one's going to hold it against them that, they're copying TNA. I mean, it's brand new. I'm on the phone. Close the door. My bad.
What happens, bro?
My bad. That's what they need to do. But yeah.
No, I feel you. No, sorry, bro. I agree with you for the most part. Like, I'd say the biggest feud or the biggest program that has like promos of it is Big Swole and Britt Baker.
Big Swole.
Big Swole is sick. I like Big Swole. She's got presence on the mic. She's everything I need. Britt Baker, she's a good promo as well, and she's been injured the whole time, so they're just trying to do like skits to keep it going. But of course, there's no match yet, so I understand what you're saying about program. The equivalent we kind of got for like Gail Kim and Awesome Kong was Nyla Rose versus Shida, because they had a feud, and the title changed because of it. It's like a no disqualification. Shida is like a Japanese wrestler, and Nyla Rose is like kind of the same stature as Awesome Kong. So, but again, they've not had a match since, so it is a weird time to kind of to get in it. And again, like if the common matches on AEW don't always highlight the women, so they have to. The same thing we're saying about WWE. They have to establish a program to make sure that you know what's going on, Black, so we can see what's good.
Mr. Controversial.
The controversial.
Yes, come on, man. Always.
He's saying.
I've got to change my name quick because government names getting exposed.
Now, should be calm. It's going to be changed in the edit, but still change it anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, now carry on, VRSY.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree with you, especially with the women's division. Like they just, it's just the same where there just needs to be, like, it's okay to have more than one program. There's no things to be one on one.
My issue. That is my issue. I feel like for me, sorry to cut you off, but I feel like you lot will agree with me with this. I feel like the programs that they have within the women's division is too title centric. Besides the Big Swole and Britt Baker's program, everything seems to be revolved around the title. They'll have a few people that will be like, they'll have a few of the first three rankings within the women's division all going against each other for the title. Once they now have the title match, it will now change and it will be now a new shuffle of women coming in to fight for the title belt. Whereas with like, so for example, let's go back to Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. That was a good few programs of matches. You know what I'm saying? It, like, for me, I feel like what we're missing in terms of like the women is like, maybe we might get that with Big Swole, where we have a long-term program where it's like, there's so much animosity. First, you have a normal match, then they might go into like another match, they might go to like an unsanctioned match. It's like, we're missing that kind of like, that vigor from these women. And it's like, the women aren't even getting enough time. We've seen complaints of women only getting like 3 minutes, or they're either getting moved to dark. I felt like with the women's tag team tournament that they're doing at the moment, like I kind of get the angle of why they're doing it on YouTube by itself, because they want to kind of like draw eyes to the women only. But at the same time, it's like, you could build feuds around this tournament. You could also have it on Dynamite. And then also with the finals, you can have that at the all-out pay-per-view. I feel like the way they've just positioned things, I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of it. But besides that, I don't know, like in terms of like who they can bring in, who do you not think they could bring in?
I mean, the obvious one would be like Kairi Sane.
Yeah.
But that would be the complete obvious one. But again, like you said, it's like who does she face? Because the people the women that's established right now is Big Swole, Britt Baker, who's injured, Nyla Rose, and I can't even say Shida is really spotlighted, because as much as she has the championship, she's wrestling every now and then.
Well, I was very surprised that she won the title. I like Shida, don't get me wrong. I think she's an amazing wrestler, but at the same time, the reason I did like their feud, her and Nyla Rose. But at the same time, I was shocked that Nyla lost it so quick. Yeah, I was
especially without a follow-up match, because like you said, they're just missing that kind of like, oh, I'm so pissed, I want a rematch kind of thing, and work off their people. Kind of was like, I lost my match, I'm so vexed. Now Vicky's my manager.
And then remember, she wasn't really on TV too much as well.
Yeah.
she wasn't really on TV too much, so I don't know. I know Sam don't really watch it. Sam's not an AEW guy at all, bro.
That's why I'm just ignoring everything. I'm like,
That's why I'm not turning the question to him, because he's just gonna share it. So I'm just leaving it.
I hear all these women wrestlers. I'm like, fair enough. Cool.
No, to be fair, I couldn't.
How is the AEW women's division? I know you lot were just talking about it before I just popped up.
So we're saying it's
shit.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
No. It's okay in terms like overall, it's not great, but only because like there's no standout feud right now, and the standout feud they're not wrestling because one person's injured.
Yeah.
And the championship's not really be defended a lot. So I see why they were saying shit.
Yeah.
It's just to be desired.
Yeah. There's a lot to be done, and it just seems like everything surrounding the women's tends to just solely be about the women's title, as opposed to like let's say there's like a new wrestler that's come in. Okay, cool. Eventually you want to win the title, but your sole purpose at the moment could be, you know what, I want to be able to beat everyone, or I want to show people why I'm the standout guy. Then may possibly get into a feud, then fight for the title. Whereas with them, it's like, okay, cool. You're gonna have a few matches here and there, and then you're gonna potentially fight for the title. Once you've now been in the shuffle for the title, and you don't either become number one contender, or you've become number one contender and you've lost, then you're going to be off TV for a while. You're just going to be in the crowd. So it's like, there's no real like focus on like building feuds. We don't really know a lot of the wrestlers. A lot of the wrestlers aren't even wrestling. So it's like, there's not really anyone that we could truly be invested in. Like, it's clear that they're trying to build the division behind Big Swole, Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, Shida. But then it's like, what about the other talent that's there? There's a ton of talent. So like, look at Penelope. Is her name Penelope? The one that's with Kip Sabian?
Yeah, Penelope Ford.
Yeah, Penelope Ford.
Okay.
She had, like, to be fair, when she first came in, I had no idea who she was. But then when she was now put in the title shuffle, I was like, rah, this girl is actually good.
And she murked it.
Fam, she can actually wrestle, like, she's sick. But there was no real follow-up. It's just, she's back to managing the next week. So it's like, yeah.
You know what, can I just actually, I think,
Maybe.
and
Go on.
no, you go, Black. See, I said nothing.
Maybe because one thing I want to kind of understand here is, I feel like AEW, I don't know, I haven't been watching it for a very, very long time. But the reason why I stopped is because I felt like there was never a story behind it, to any of it. I felt like it was just guys just flying out in the ring. Cody's the guy, I guess, and everyone just follows this bandwagon.
No, there is a story. There's definitely a story.
But can an average person from the public understand the stories which they're giving? That's what I'm trying to understand. A guy who watches, you would say so?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
well, if you're using Cody for this, because right now the feud is Cody is now the TNT champion. It's basically like Intercontinental Championship. So there's not really storyline with him. It's like he takes a new challenger every week.
So that's easy to follow.
Yeah, that's easy to follow.
It's literally open challenge.
Okay.
Yeah. With MJF is like the number one contender, and now he's trying to beat John Moxley. John Moxley's the champion. So it's easy to get into, but obviously to stay in power, obviously. And that's what I was going to say just before, is my main gripe with AEW is what Del said earlier, which is like the follow through. The problem is someone will come through and challenge the top person. When they lose, they drop and nothing happens. For example, Brody Lee comes through, feuds with John Moxley, loses, now he's just doing tag team stuff. Brian Cage loses, now he's kind of still there, but he's lost. And the loss is too impactful that you will turn it on and be like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, he lost to the main guy. Okay, what now then? The same with even for Cody, what's his face? Lance
Archer, yeah.
Okay.
Faces Cody. Cool match, loses, and now like it's okay to do a rematch, but they don't do that. They kind of just go, all right, let's move on to somebody else. And because there's not a lot of people who's established, you should establish the person by letting them fight again.
Yeah.
And I get it. They don't want to do the whole endless rematches thing like WWE did years ago. But at the same time, one rematch is not going to make someone go, this
and
is
it's
too
still
much.
new. And what spins me the most about this as well, these were not shit matches. If these were matches that were shit and it was just a one and done, then fair enough. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next program. Maybe down the line we could potentially have another match. Brody Lee versus Moxley was a sick match. Brian Cage versus Moxley was a good match. Cody versus Lance, sick match. These are matches that have been potentially good, and it's like, okay, cool. Lance Archer's coming to the thing. The way he's been built before he's even had his first match before he's had his match with Cody, he's been built as a complete beast. He's had vignettes about him. He's just and he had the match, he lost. Okay, cool. Not that I was expecting it. I would have hoped for him to win, but then again, we don't want Cody losing too much. Cody won, fair enough. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll book it down the line like, listen, I want my rematch against you. But it's like, as soon as Lance lost, man's just been on dark, or he's been running riot backstage, and it's like, there's not really been a real follow through. It's like, that program's just done and dusted. We don't even know what else is happening with him now. The same
that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like you AEW's all over the place. There's no follow-up. So they're not good at storytelling.
Yo, it's McAfee here, and you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast by the Mandem for the Mandem. Blah blah blah.
Because there should be a follow-up.
I wouldn't say as far to say not good at storytelling, because you say
they're strong. They have strong.
Yeah, but every story has to have a happy ending. That's how a story goes.
Not every single one.
Not every story. Look at Nollywood.
But a story doesn't die out. You know what's like? How can
I agree with that?
Either be continued or where coming from.
Yeah, there's a continuation or there's an ending. Yeah, there's a conclusion. Yeah, but it seems like as soon as the first chapter of the book is done, that's it. It's onto that's it. You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
I mean,
I can say that's ended like in a way that either is it going to pick up from again afterwards. Something like Cody versus MJF. That ended in a way which was like Cody was getting murked for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and he still lost, and because they were friends before, and then it kind of kickstarted MJF being the big hill. Same with John Moxley and Kenny Omega. That started for like about a whole 4 to 5 months. That ended. It was all right. And even John Moxley and Jericho. So like the main storylines are working out, but for the last couple of months during the kind of COVID thing, I won't even blame that.
Yeah,
I agree with what you're saying. The follow through is too weak, and then you kind of go, "Oh, this guy was a big deal, and now he's not." Okay, so if he shows up on the screen again, you're gonna be like, "But he wasn't a big deal." So what's happening?
Okay.
And the thing is, it's not even, and it's not even that. So it's like so you see on WWE 2K on Universe mode, where you have the long rivalry, short rivalry, middle rivalry. So it's like they'd have these short rivalries, but they build it like it's big rivalries. So like, look for example, like Brody Lee, like that's something that could have gone on for months. Like we could have potentially seen a bit where we didn't even see them have a match for time, but John Moxley, we know how John Moxley is. He done this with the Inner Circle. He took out everybody in the Inner Circle, and then went to Jericho. He could potentially have done something like that. Brody Lee comes out, you're not fighting me, and he brings out all these different people in the Dark Circle. Then you know what I'm saying. So these are stuff that have been built to a certain level, but then the match is at that level, but the follow through is now okay. Cool. It's just it's anticlimactic. So it's like, okay, cool. What now? Okay, then the next week on Dynamite, we just hear John Moxley won his title back, and it's on to the next one straight away. There's no real follow through, and then Brody Lee will be missing for a few weeks, then come back, and it's like, I'm not understanding it. So, I mean, for the most part, it's I don't know.
It's like basically with AEW, the consistency isn't there. Basically,
that's the thing, though.
With half of the storylines, I can say on my test, half of the storylines it just drops. But there's a lot of things like the Big Swole with the slow build, but even things like Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara. Like there's a lot with AEW. There's a lot of seeds
being planted.
That are planted.
Even with Darby Allin and John Moxley, like that's been planted. Another thing that I feel like has been great, probably one of the highlights of AEW, has been Kenny Omega and Adam Page. Like at this point, we're now at a crossroads where we actually don't know who's going to turn on who. We don't know who's going to turn on who. And for me, I feel like once we now get that story in play, that's probably going to be the top storyline in AEW. Like that's going to be, and then once we get that Kenny Omega versus Adam Page match, then it's going to be like, yo, this is going to be nuts. So, I mean, they're hitting in certain places, but then I don't know. I feel like because the misses are so bad, it seems like there's more misses than hits. So I don't know. I feel like it's a bit balanced. What do you think, V?
Yeah, I'd say it's balanced because again, it's in the areas where like again a short feud will end and then that's it, and it's more disappointing to see than angry. I don't get vexed. I'm more like, oh, I mean, there's no pay-per-view coming up next. You can do it on TV. You can just keep like because they know when to do it. Like even with Orange Cassidy and Jericho.
Yeah.
Cassidy lost the first match, but what do you do to continue the feud? You just do something else. So Cassidy just pisses him off, and now he's like, "Oh, you messed up my jacket." All right, continues. So now Cassidy won that match. So now there's going to be a third match at some point, and then you can end the feud there. Because usually it's like a three match series. One guy wins the first one, other guy wins the next one, and then the third one is like for a stipulation. And then even if that person loses or wins, they still got to win, and they got a program out of it. So then you'll see it as, oh, I remember Cassidy. Yeah, he's the guy that had a feud with Not just, oh, Brian Cage, he looks sick. Oh, he lost. Okay. Oh, he came with a big hype. Okay. And so that's what I'm saying is balance because they've done it correctly and they've also, because like I said about the seeds, the biggest seed that's being dropped right now is like Dale said about Kenny Omega and Adam Page, but also the revival, FTR and the Young Bucks.
Yeah, that's been a seed that's been even planted from when FTR were in WWE. So
years ago.
Yeah.
And that match I know. And what I like about it is that, as you were saying back before, you're saying there's a lot of flips and whatnot, but then FTR are very old school wrestling. So the match, when you see FTR wrestle, they ground and pound, they get it done. When you see Young Bucks wrestle, they fly about. So they're exploiting both sides. So you don't know how the match is going to be. So when you see the match, you're going to get the best of both. And that's something where we don't know who's heel or who's face right now. So again, it's that slow seed of like, well, you know what, this guy, I like. It's kind of like what style of wrestling would you prefer, basically, in the feud, basically, and who is the best feud. So it's gonna be sick when it pops up.
Fair enough. Interesting.
Yeah. Blacks, did you watch Raw this week?
Yeah.
How'd you find it?
Montez Ford could be a star.
Montez Ford, nah, he's that guy, man. I don't know. I feel like Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins can be stars as well.
No.
Yeah.
I think more so Montez, but
Montez.
I don't know. I feel like. Say that again.
So now I was saying, what did you guys actually think of Raw, though? Like the show itself?
Interesting. I don't even mind watching WWE. You know, I find it a bit interesting. That Raw for me, I didn't mind it, bruv. I didn't actually mind it. I swear to God, I actually didn't mind it. It's kind of mad. I didn't mind it. This woman's what was even going on now? Let me remind myself. We had
not much happened.
Retribution was doing madness in the performance center. I didn't know what they were doing. Obviously, we found out about the poisoning, Selena Vega, obviously under the CCTV, and that's when that went a bit mad. Obviously, Hurt Business. Shelton Benjamin won the 24/7 champion and then lost it again to Cedric. I think it's getting interesting. The Hurt Business, they're doing their thing as well, bruv. Like, I feel like they really need to go for it now. Like, they're doing their thing. Apollo Crews as well. Raw Underground, obviously Shayna Bayley. Who's the oh my gosh, the MMA four horsewoman. One of them was fighting.
Oh, Marina Shafir, I think
her, yeah. She was there. I think she fought Nia, I'm not too sure. But I think Nia was bullying her. And then Shayna come in and then they're about to get on. And then what else has happened, man? There was actually quite a lot that actually went on, you know.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
So in general, like, what would you rate it? Like, have you, like, to be fair, I feel like out of all of us, you're the person you actually, like, you stick with WWE. Like, you won't cape for no other wrestling promotion. In terms of, so would you say you're wholeheartedly enjoying what's going on in WWE?
I don't mind it. Yeah. I don't mind it. I don't.
But do you like it or not? Like, no, I'm not even trying to put on you. I'm just saying, like, would you generally say you don't mind it? That's cool. But the same way I don't mind AEW when it's not too good. But if it's good or not is the question.
I like the way you flip that up. You know what? I don't. To be honest with you, I can't say I don't mind it. It's not the best product, obviously. It's not the best WWE I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it's something that just keeps me occupied, man. I can watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can watch it. It's watchable. Before it wasn't watchable. Now it's watchable. Even with this Ray and Dominic fighting off Seth Rollins and Murphy, that was kind of hard as well with the kendo sticks. Like they fought Seth Rollins and Murphy very well. You know where I'm coming from. That was
I want to
sick.
ask you guys a serious question, like, because I wasn't really watching at the time, and I don't think I was on when it happened. What was your honest thoughts when the eye for an eye match and Seth threw up? What was your honest thoughts about that? And looking back,
I thought it was bullshit. But the reason why, we think it's bullshit is because we know that it's all pre-planned, I guess. See where I'm coming from.
Are you talking in terms of the actual match, or are you talking about just the vomit, the result?
And everything that's happened since, like the vomit thing.
So the match, I enjoyed the match, but when the whole eye and the vomiting thing happened, I mean,
we get it.
I get it, but I'm not gonna lie to you. It was like,
we're not
for me, if I was being honest, I would have preferred that they didn't do an eye for. I would have preferred that wasn't the type of match they were going for. Because the thing is, it's like that match made me realize that WWE is actually a TV show. Like it's upsetting that actually I have to look at it like a TV show. I can't look at it as like a sport.
Bro, it's splendid.
That's because of all the recognition it's getting.
You know what? You see that eye for an eye thing? I'm not going to say it's a bad idea. It's just that a Lucha Underground would have been able to pull it off. That suits Lucha Underground's format because of their style of wrestling and just how it is.
Just the storytelling,
Yeah. Whereas with WWE, it doesn't really suit because it's like we're in the reality era. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Lucha Underground, it felt like, all right, we know that it's storyline based, but I don't know, it's different. With WWE, it's too close to reality so we know it's not believable. Even if
Lucha Underground had this... No, sorry, bro, continue. I don't want to cut you.
No, I'm done.
Like, Lucha Underground had its own, like, world, in a sense, where it was wrestling, but it also had, like, you know, it had dragons, it had stuff, like, we got mad, and it had its own, as you said, like, it's like a TV show, but also, like, its own world. So you could take liberties, man. There's people dying, there's people eating people, there's flipping, it's mad at that. So someone losing the eye, they could take a liberty and do some sort of graphic thing. Because I think like even Luchasaurus on the show when he got killed, and that's it. He's never talked about it again. So you tell them WWE, and you'll see them on Twitter the next day going like that. It just doesn't make sense. Because like you said, it's that kind of, there's not really a world. There's a universe, as they call it, but it's not a world. You know that you're going to see Jeff Hardy wasn't really drunk. He wasn't really flipping throwing up and stuff. I wasn't really pissed that was thrown in his face. But it's the TV show kind of feeling. And it's still a weird one because what I'm saying is exactly what I was saying about Lucha Underground, but they embrace it, whereas WWE don't. Because next minute they want to be like, no, it's a sport. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like WWE is just too close to reality. Like, they need to be able to separate it. WWE has its own universe, as they like to call the WWE universe. But it doesn't feel like it's in its own universe. It's like, come on, we know Rey Mysterio's eye didn't really come out. But then if it was in Lucha Underground, we'll be like, oh yeah, his eye came out in Lucha Underground. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it.
No, I definitely get it.
You're explaining it in the right way.
It's more believable if it came from like a Lucha Underground, but with a WWE, it's just like, this is just fake. It's not it's WWE just need to say they're a TV show now. They're a TV show. They're not a wrestling company. They're a TV show that does wrestling. That's all they need to do.
I feel like certain wrestlers, like Orton is 18 plus. What Orton did to Jeff Hardy's ear? You telling me it's a TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it still is. We can still make.
They can run with that. They can run with it.
It wasn't like he tore his ear off. You know what I'm saying? There's still a stretch of imagination where you can be like, there's certain, even if we're going way back, like when flipping people are taking thumbtacks at the back, you're still going to be like, there's certain things where if you're getting licked to the chair, that's going to hurt. But But it's the kind of CGI kind of weird things like that one. It's just like that just feels like we're going way back to like early 90s, at the era that Anafi liked, when it's just like flipping. I got love for Anafi, but you know what I'm saying? People jumping out of eggs and stuff, and you get me. It's just a bit.
Right, the clown, huh?
Big up Anafi.
Right, the clown. Oh shit. That era.
I don't know, man.
But no, to be honest with you, WWE hasn't really been the same since. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I feel
if it's not this, it doesn't have to be the same for it to be good. Because of course, there's been a lot of matches that I can still say within this year and last year that I've enjoyed. Like WWE's been uploading like a bunch of matches from last year's Summerslam, and there was bare sick matches from that Summerslam.
Yeah.
Even the things like Goldberg and Dolph Ziggler, just the little moments. Like they had the moments. They had Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. That was a good match. Even Charlotte and Trish Stratus. They can still do sick matches because when they focus on what they're good at, which is telling stories and just getting down to business, getting matches together, they're sick. They're undefeatable. But it's when they get too hokey and get too relaxed and think they can kind of take the, I don't want to say the, well, they take the mick or take the liberty of like, oh, they're going to stay anyway, so we can do whatever. That's when the TV they put out is just offensive to the point where I'm just like, I don't care if I've been a fan for how many years. If you drop shit TV, I want to turn it off. Simple as.
no.
I don't want my intelligence to be insulted.
Yo, you know what it is, yeah? I feel like I'm going to need to go back to what I was saying before. I think WWE is too big to be a TV show. Like, because, come on, they wrestle in arenas every week. Whereas a small company like Lucha Underground, they was just in a factory. And WWE is too big to be a TV show. So I take that back. But Raw Underground, that can be a TV show. That can be an online series. Or just WWE wrestling as a whole, maybe not really a TV show. They just need better storylines. But they could have their own TV show. It just needs to be separated from the wrestling part.
Okay.
That definitely makes sense.
That's true.
Nah.
Definitely makes sense.
Crazy. It's crazy.
But I don't know for WWE, man. I don't know.
Team WWE to the death. Told you, man. Here, now, and forever. Facts.
But what, Sam?
That's because that's
I
what
think-
they that's their slogan. So it's not like that's true to life. Like
I'm coming from.
I don't know. They need change. They need a creative director. They need a new one.
Not really, man. Like I told you, man. It's not for our generation anymore, man. I've told them already. I think I said this on the podcast anyway. WWE is just not for our generation anymore. It's either you're with it or not. Vince still making money.
But at the end of the day, it's more than that, because I will agree it's not for our generation really, because it's to be honest, it's catered to more children, really and truly. But it doesn't mean that our generation can't still enjoy it, and there's still certain things that they take liberties on. It doesn't mean like, oh, because they were good back in the day, I'm just going to stay with them, because it doesn't really. They don't, fans are replaceable. It's just about if you enjoy it or not. If I don't enjoy it, I just don't watch for a while and I'll come back. And that's okay.
Oh, what's going on, people? It's your boy, Big Wavy Roy Johnson, and you're listening to WRESTHINGS.
Another thing I wanted to discuss with you, man. We got the Jobbeteers podcast in the US. They recently had a discussion on their podcast recently regarding Cody Rhodes. They spoke about the whole Cody Rhodes versus Scorpio Sky match. And interesting topic that they spoke about was Cody's... Will Cody be spoken about in the next 20 years? And was his WWE run a memorable run?
I would say he will be spoken about in 20 years. For both careers. With his WWE run, it had moments but again, it's more so like you have to die for them, because he never really had like a main event or nothing. He had like a really solid mid-card run that had good feuds. Other than the tag match against the Shield with his brother and The feud they had with Big Show in 2012 was good.
Yeah, he got a sick match out of the Big Show.
He really did.
Which
He
is
got one of the best matches out of the
which is very hard.
Yeah, and the feud he had with Rey Mysterio and the feud he had with Booker T. Like, there was a lot of cool things, but things like Stardust, and even when he first came into the company, he was teaming like Hardcore Holly. Like, it wasn't memorable. It's more so like from Legacy 09 up until Road Scholars with Damien Sandow. But again, you have to search that. You wouldn't sit down and be like, I want to watch Cody Rhodes. Like, you have to search for him. So I think it depends on how deep of a fan you really are to want it.
Yeah, I do agree with the whole moments thing. I do feel like he was memorable. Okay, cool. He brought back the old Intercontinental title. His dashing run was very memorable. His undashing run was very memorable. His Stardust, as controversial as it was memorable. I just feel like in general, to say that he isn't going to be spoken about in the next 20 years is bad, regardless of whether we bring up his dad or not, or his brother or not. Because if we're keeping it a buck, he had, as opposed to Goldust, he's had better matches in WWE than Goldust has had in WWE.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, he's had better matches in WWE than Goldust has had. As much as Goldust has had like moments, and Goldust is like,
wait a minute. I was just zoning for a minute. Did you basically just say Cody Rhodes has had a better run from Goldust?
I said he had better matches in WWE than Goldust.
Ooh.
Mr. Controversial, he's getting ready. He's loading.
Am I wrong?
Okay. Go on.
Am I wrong?
You can name matches.
Goldust as a whole is a more memorable character. He is.
Yeah, that's
yeah, he's a genre like he's an era defining wrestler. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking about the Attitude Era, if Goldust's name is not mentioned, then that's a disservice to him. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of like matchups, we've had feuds like Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio, Cody Rhodes and Big Show, Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus The Shield.
Really moments I'm going to remember Cody for. Me personally.
No, but we're talking about matches though.
We're talking matches. I'm talking matches.
To be honest with you, yeah, for me and Cody, yeah, Cody's WWE run was, for me, yeah, I didn't really notice Cody, to be honest. It was just like, yeah, you're there. For me anyway, you're there.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Legacy, yeah, you had your little part with Teddy. That was good. You know, you had your little run with the nose, like the mad nose and that, when you had, you know, the nose brace and all that. But it just wasn't really for me. I will know Cody for the guy who changed the wrestling industry for making AEW. That's the Cody I'll remember. The American Nightmare, the one who had the match with Nick Aldis for the NWA. That's the Cody I'll remember. Me personally. But I wouldn't remember Cody for his WWE run. It's kind of a shit run.
No, it's not shit.
Yeah,
I'll still say, I'll comfortably say that any Cody match is up there or even better than the Goldust match. I'll comfortably say that.
And the thing is, if we're talking about runs,
okay, but we're just comparing Goldust and Cody. Okay, fair. The question was, is Cody going to be known in 20 years?
Yeah, that was the first question.
His WWE run, for me, will not be remembered. Me personally, I don't think we'll be remembered in 20 years like that.
What do you remember from Goldust's run?
Goldust's run, people know Goldust because of the character of Goldust.
No, what do you remember?
What do you remember besides the character? What do you remember?
Too much from Goldust, or his matches with Rocky Mouth.
So is it clear to say?
Moments with Booker T. You know what I mean? He had a couple feuds with The Undertaker back in the day. Like, I remember a bit of Goldust.
So can we say that Goldust run was shit then?
It was, bruv, them man were jobbers. It wasn't really the greatest runs to either of them. They weren't superstars to say, yeah, okay, they had such a sick run. No.
Cody wasn't a jobber.
Yo,
Cody was a mid-card star, but is that really to say, all right,
they were both mid-card, but Cody had a better run.
Remember, Dean Ambrose's run or Cody's run?
But that's not the question. Because Dean Ambrose got to be in the main event. Cody didn't get to be in the main event, and nor did Goldust.
In 20 years, yes, he will be remembered. But me personally, his WWE run, I don't think will be remembered.
It will.
You know what's gonna happen? You see,
we can't overlook his Intercontinental title run. I'm so sorry.
Yo.
Yeah, go on, bro.
Yo, can you not hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, cool. You see, Cody, he is going to be remembered in 20 years. Do you know why? Because people are going to be demanding for that Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton dream match. People want to see in 20 years, matter of fact, 5-10 years, people want to see legacy come back. They want to see Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton before Randy Orton retires. So definitely, Cody is going to be in demand because people want to see that match.
I don't think so.
You don't think that's gonna, bro? It will happen. It will happen.
I don't think Legacy was more of that. Legacy was just a time, innit?
Do you know what I think as well? You see when Cody demanded his release, I'm not going to lie to you. I think Cody has been the most, like at one point was the most in-demand independent wrestler. I don't think Dean Ambrose even had that much leverage in independent.
WWE.
No, but what is that due to? His WWE run. Him and Dean Ambrose both had a run in WWE. I don't think Dean Ambrose.
It was for Cody saying, "F WWE, I'm going to do my own thing and build myself as a wrestler," and that's what he did. And
Dean Ambrose left on the same accord.
Yeah, of course. But what I'm trying to say is, Dean's run was more relevant. Dean's run, you will remember.
He was in a better spot.
Remember Dean as the world heavyweight champion.
But he was in a better spot. You're forgetting this is booked, bro. He was in a better spot.
So
it doesn't now mean because he won a championship.
I'm just comparing the runs. It doesn't matter if they've been treated.
No, but if you're saying he was more relevant, it's because he got to be more relevant. He was put in a main event spot and got to win a WWE championship. Cody didn't really get to be in any WWE championship matches. So by the blind eye, we're going to say, of course, if he wasn't in the main marquee, then he's not relevant. But if the roles are switched, you wouldn't be saying that.
Yeah, if the roles have been switched now because Cody's the man. So everyone's going to remember Cody, mainly. If you're talking about, if you want to be known in 20 years, you've got to be a star. It's not just being a mid-card star only.
Fam, did Cody...
You have to make it.
Did he choose to be mid-card, bro?
Fam, look at Godfather.
He didn't choose to be a mid-card, bro.
Cody's mid-card. He's never been main event. Don't you ever.
But bro, wait.
Why are you... What? I don't know where you going with this, bro. I don't know how we've gone.
Hear me out. Okay, cool. Godfather. What has the Godfather done? And you're telling, like, he's had moments and he's had change of character. But has Godfather had better matches than Cody Rhodes in WWE?
Probably not.
Don't even dare lie. He
hasn't had better matches. So all this talk about, he's a mid-carder. Fam, the 90s has mid-carders glorified in the Hall of Fame. Look at people like British Bulldog. British Bulldog never won the world title. Mr. Perfect never won the world title. So it's for us to sit here and say that, they've never, because he wasn't in the top spot or he never... Like, Cody, so are you telling me that if the only way for you to remember Cody's run is for him to win a world title?
No, not necessarily.
Then that's what I'm saying.
I don't get the argument.
Okay, fair enough. I said that at the beginning, but okay, really and truthfully, I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, so if Cody Rhodes...
it's just my own opinion, isn't it? It's just my own opinion.
Okay, so if Cody Rhodes had the same run, so let's say when he had the Undashing run and he brought the World Intercontinental title, if he had done that same gimmick with the world title, are you telling me you wouldn't have remembered that? And he said, I'm bringing back the old world title. Are you telling me you wouldn't have remembered that run?
Yeah, probably would have.
You would have?
Probably, man, maybe.
But then you won't remember his Intercontinental title run, especially when he's made the title important again.
He didn't go through that run. I don't know. I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Fair enough.
I'm not too sure. Obviously, like I said, Cody's the man, of course. I don't really feel like he's going to be remembered really for his WWE run. That's just me, innit? I don't really feel that.
Snap the argument.
You said?
I said, was that the argument? Would he be remembered for his WWE run?
No, not for WWE run, but would he be remembered in 100%, yes.
Yeah, but and is his WWE run memorable?
I don't really feel like it'll be for his WWE run. People will be like, it's the guy who made AEW. They'll say, yeah, he had his WWE run, but yeah, he left WWE and then he started to do his thing.
No, to be honest with you, I'm not even disagreeing with you because he will be remembered mostly because he helped spearhead AEW, a whole new company. But it does not now mean that his WWE run is obsolete because that's far from the truth.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe I did go a bit over the top, but I just don't feel it will be that significant as to why he's great. See where I'm coming from?
Oh, of course, yeah, 100%.
No, it's facts. You now it's debatable in terms of wrestling skills with Dustin, because I'm not gonna lie to you, Dustin, especially their match at what was the pay-per-view that they wrestled at? Was it
Double or Nothing?
Double or Nothing? Yeah, that match, Dustin, like it got to a point where I was saying to myself, you know what, I'm gonna start playing this Goldust on 2K. I'm gonna edit his moves. I'm gonna start playing him in 2K, fam. But I mean, you raised some valid points, Blacks. But I mean, the thing is, maybe because the way I feel towards that, his moments in WWE, maybe that's why I'm feeling like, fam, how can you not remember that? Because especially that undashing run, that was unlike anything we had seen. Man had lackeys with me. He was handing out brown bags for people to cover their faces with. Like, if that is not memorable, then fam, we're out here memorizing that Godfather was a kickboxer before he joined flipping, what's it called? Nation of Domination.
Godfather's been respected in the industry, and Godfather actually, like, his character, to be honest with you, transcended. Like, when he was doing all this pimp daddy stuff, yeah, with the hoes, he was the man, cuz. I remember 2000, man coming with about 20 girls in bikinis. I was like, this guy is the guy. He is the guy. That is the guy. You know where I'm coming from.
And he'll legit fuck people up as well.
Some of his matches I remember, though, to be honest with you. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? Obviously, he was with D'Lo Brown, etc. But nah, you're right.
And he'll legit fuck people up. He was coming in a time where them man, even if you weren't great in the ring, if like backstage, man couldn't chat to you, then that adds to it. Whereas now it's like that, nobody cares about that kind of stuff anymore, isn't it? Like, your talking has to be done in the ring. So, yeah, man. Big up Cody Rhodes. How have you, man, been finding his reign for the TNT title?
I enjoyed it. But I will say the match quality is a bit, like, again, I like the Scorpio Sky one, and I liked I think it was Jungle Boy. Like, the Jungle Boy one was good. And
Sonny Kiss was good.
Yeah.
And I think Eddie Kingston,
I like how he showed more aggression, like, with the people who is underestimated. And I like only because I like just the match was okay, but I like Ricky Starks from NWA. So just to see him in the ring just got me really, really gassed. So I just think there's a lot more people that he could be facing, and I think a feud for the TNT Championship is what is needed next now, in my opinion. But Laps, sorry to do that. What do you think of the run?
I think his run's okay, you know. I'm not really too invested into it. But the match with Eddie Kingston was the best one I'd ever seen so far.
No, you know what? Oh, how could I forget? Oh, nah. The promo that Eddie... Nah, that's probably one of the best matches. Nah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think for me, that was probably like the most... Like, that's the match I saw. I was like, wait, Cody actually might lose this.
Yeah, exactly.
Cody might actually lose this belt. And it was like the promo, like, man came out, no music. Man just came out of the mic, straight talking, and went into the match. And I was just thinking, yeah. And if you're aware of Eddie Kingston, like
Eddie Kingston's God, man.
Fam, like you know the type of time he's on, in it. So when they had their match, I was thinking, wait, what?
God,
Eddie Kingston might actually win, and he ended up getting a contract from that. So I think the match that I least liked was probably one against Warhorse. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That was dead.
Like, credit to him for like getting people around him to kind of like, for pushing this movement, and like, but because I'd never really seen matches from him. I'd seen his like promo stuff, and I've seen that he'd been liked a lot online. But when the match actually came, I was thinking, my nigga, this is shit, fam. What the fuck is this? I was thinking, wait, is this you man's king? Like, this is the man you man have been hyping up for time, saying, yeah, Cody versus Warhorse. And the match came, and the match was fucking dead with his fucking old school Daniel Bryan boots, fam. Fucking.
He's a reborn Ultimate Warrior. I was like, I'm not feeling it.
No, I thought the match was shit, man. Never again. You lot. I blame the internet. It's wrestling fans. Stop. I mean, I'm all for opportunity and giving these new wrestlers a chance, but maybe it's my fault for not doing research and watching these matches to get a good idea. But that match was shit.
That's what wrestling fans are, man. They overhype the worst things, man.
Fam, the wrestling fans were the worst, man. That match was so shit, man. I remember watching, I was thinking, this match is dead. And then what was it? Dark Order have come to attack. Was it Dark Order? Was it Dark Order? Yeah, Dark Order came to attack, but then you're getting attacked yourself when you're trying to help him. So that way, so clearly don't rate you. Then obviously Matt Cardona's that guy just had to come out and help. So man, I'm thinking, this nigga is shit, fam. Fuck this nigga, man. Good, fam. Yeah, man. Boy, are you man looking forward to SummerSlam?
Should be all right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to individual matches. I'm looking forward to Drew and Orton. I just want to. I think this is the test to see. Like, I really want to see Drew keep the title.
Yeah.
I really want to see Drew keep the title.
Same.
Because he's held it down throughout this Corona era, and I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
But his match quality has still been top notch, and yeah, man, he's been killing it. He deserves to let it go far. He deserves to see a crowd before he loses his title.
Yeah, 100.
I think he might get that at SummerSlam, you know. I think he might get a crowd at SummerSlam, but Orton's definitely, I personally believe, is rolling out with the championship.
No. I know that they're rolling into this new Thunder. Have you man seen the videos for the Thunderdome that they're building?
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about that?
I mean, I personally feel like if this is something that they're going to do, especially with like, I feel like they should have done this earlier. I won't even lie to you. I know that it's going to be, so they're going to be in a stadium now, but then they're going to have like LED lights, LED screens around, and it's going to be like virtual. So you see how the NBA are, and even football, how they're doing virtual fans on the screen. So they're going to have to do that for WWE.
Live.
I mean, I feel like they personally should have done that maybe time ago. Or if they'd thought about doing that for WrestleMania, that probably would have, you know, but maybe the times at the time. Yeah.
As long as the crowd noise is not as bad as it was for that greatest match of ever for Orton and Edge, because that was awful, bro.
That was so shit.
That was awful. Just let it be the NXT dudes and some fans. Just don't overdo it, man.
Fam, they've got enough. They've got enough people on the roster to be able to, like, and there's bare man not resting. They've got enough people to put in the crowd if they needed to. To hype it up. I'm sure they've even acquired Evolve. Why not have a lot of the Evolve man and all of these?
You're allowed to sit in the crowd, man.
Just sit in the crowd, fam, make noise. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as you men are wrestlers, you men are fans at the same time. So, you know, you lot don't know how the match is gonna go. So, fam, you're gonna be watching it the same way we're watching it, innit? So, yeah. But I mean, I'm looking forward to SummerSlam. It should be good. Maybe we should wrap this up. Any final thoughts? Oh, go on, bro, sir.
I was going to say the women's championship match will be interesting.
Yeah. How do you think that's going to play out? Because I was saying earlier, like, this could potentially plant the seeds for Sasha versus Bayley. But, I mean, how do you think it's going to play out?
I don't think it'll be Asuka 2 belts. I guess someone's going to betray someone, innit? Something's going to happen. It's SummerSlam. I can't really predict too well, man. Asuka might win 1 belt, but, you know, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I think the match which I want to see is Street Profits versus Andrade, Zelina, and Angel Garza. I like Angel Garza. He's my guy.
Star.
I got a question, you know. So I've seen that Payback, the next pay-per-view is going to be like the week straight after SummerSlam, yeah? And yeah, and not only, which is overkill, but not only that, I know I've been seeing segments of like I think last Monday, Drew McIntyre was like bigging up the locker room, and then last week, Big E's bigging up the Smackdown locker room. Do you think that they're going to play a part in messing up the main events, and then Payback is basically Payback against Retribution?
Wow, you thought of that real deep, innit?
That's what it's because I haven't really been paying attention to both shows. I mean, now listening to that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
That makes sense.
Retribution are a bunch of midgets, man. Bring some big players, man. Unless you're a guy walking in the ring and start big booting bare, man. Then you start thinking, oh shit, who the hell?
Babatunde, bruv.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Retribution, the people that aren't even the official wrestlers. That's what I heard. Well, that's what reports have been saying.
Oh, the actual wrestlers.
Yeah, they're not the actual wrestlers that's going to be a part of Retribution.
Where they said
Basically, WWE is still planning who's going to be a part of Retribution officially. So they literally have random superstars just in hoodies attacking everywhere, but they're not the official Retribution stars.
Yo, it's Anafi here, and you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast by the Mandem for the Mandem. Blah, blah, blah.
where do you see that? Just so I know, because I want to make sure it's like some energies.
See why I don't watch this bullshit show? What the fuck?
Oh, they're winging it. They're winging it.
What?
WWE, I don't know what they're doing.
You know, if this was an exam, it would be a D. Because I don't know what the fuck is going on, fam. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a weird one. They're in some weird episode. Actually, speaking of what they're doing, what do you think of this Dominic Mysterio stuff? How do you think that match is going to turn out? How do you feel about it?
I don't mind it.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't even lie to you.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. What Dominic has learned. I think with Dominic, I'm more interested in his moveset. I feel like that's a bit weird, but I'm interested to see how, like, whether he wins or loses. I'm not really fast. I'm just I feel like this match is just going to show me how I'm expecting to see from him in the near future. Obviously, it's still early days for him, so I'm expecting to flipping have 630 sentons. I don't expect him to be doing hurricanranas out of everywhere, but you know, it's interesting to see like how much of his dad's style is he going to take, and how much. Yeah, I'm just interested to see his moveset. That's for sure.
Because you've got a nice soft splash on Brock Lesnar. There
Yeah.
might be, a bit of elements of Eddie as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think that's in terms of that match. That's what I'm interested to see. And depending on how, because obviously Seth is going to carry that whole match, and Seth is an amazing wrestler. As much as sometimes he annoys me, but
Yeah,
I feel like Seth can get a good match out of someone. So
Seth is top 5 in the industry, I feel,
yeah.
Right now, anyway.
No, I'm sure. What about you, V?
What, with that question, top 5 in the industry?
No, in terms of that match.
Oh, the Dominic.
Yeah, Dominic match. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to see what happens. Like you said, I'm interested to see how Dominic fares in the match. Like, Seth is going to carry it, but I want to see that, some hope spots and see what. I want to see how he wrestles, because he's a lot bigger than his dad. So is he going to be more of a power? Is he going to be kind of a power guy? Is he going to be more lucha? Like, I don't, because we've not seen a match in it. So this is the whole thing, to see how he wrestles and how he goes on, because the Mysterio name is usually high flyer, and he did that big frog splash like Black said, but is that going to be his finish, or is that going to be something that he busts out? Because I just want to see a frog splash in the match now, man. I'm tired of it, bro. Let it end the match, bro.
Yeah.
Pisses me off, bro. Seth does it all the time, and it'll be a 2. But let it end the match.
And he's got a very nice frog splash as well.
Come on.
He's got a very nice frog splash. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see that match, how that plays. I feel like that match, both women's title matches, and Drew versus Randy. Those are the matches I'm gonna have be paying the most attention to. The others, it's not like I don't care, but at the same time, it's like.
I do think we're going to get Jeff versus AJ, though. That's a match I've been waiting for a very long time.
That'll be.
But I just wish the feud was a bit stronger.
Yeah.
I really want, for some reason, I want Abyss Joseph Park to be.
Hey, Joseph Parks, man!
Involved.
I've mentioned that on Twitter ASAP. I was like, was that Abyss or what? What were you saying, though? He was always part of the production team or something.
Yeah, he signed, I think, last year.
Yeah,
he signed last year as part of production. Backstage.
This could come 2021.
I mean, I won't be to be fair, I mean, we've seen it time and time again with a lot of the backstage producers coming in for a match here and there. So, I mean, I don't think they would ever reprise Abyss per se, but I mean, this Joseph Park character, who's to say that we wouldn't potentially see him doing bumps, or even if it's a thing where he just turns on AJ one day,
Exactly.
you're going to see my alter ego, and then they have a match here and there for old time's sake. I feel like Abyss isn't spoken about when it comes to big men. I went to go watch a few of his old matches. I'm not going to lie to you.
You know what, yeah, fam? I'm saying it. Abyss was way better than Viscera, fam.
Yeah, facts. Big facts. No, big facts.
Wait.
You
agree with that?
So big facts. Big facts.
Okay, here's another question. This Sam, who's better, Viscera or Midian?
Oh, shut up. Yeah, man said Midian.
Who's better, Viscera or Midian?
Oh, man.
Really?
Hey, come on, you know it's Midian. Let's be real. You know it's Midian. You know it's Midian.
Okay, who's better, Viscera or Test? Viscera or Test?
Really?
Come on.
Okay, Viscera or Test?
Match. Test, absolutely. Test, absolutely.
This.
I've had a great.
That's unfair.
No.
Rivalry with Chris Benoit back in the Attitude Era was one of the most aggressive rivalries I've ever seen, bruv. It was too much. No.
The big boot, like one of the best big boots in the game.
Even his elbow drop, fam.
Yeah.
Elbow drop.
No, he's probably one of the best big boots in the game.
I'm gonna say something, Blacks, though. I will say this. I was saying this before we went on air, yeah. So I saw the Chris Benoit and Viscera match, yeah, and I was enjoying it. Beat the clock. I was enjoying it, and then Benoit does a German suplex, and I said, "I'm done." I left the room. The Don's over 500 pounds. Benoit's at 220 at max, and I was like, "I'm finished. I'm done."
It was German suplex the Big Show.
I still don't care. I'm done. That doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me.
Hard. It's all right anyway. I don't mind anyway.
But it's not, fam. He's not picking up 300 pounds on this. I
know, but the Big Show does it.
Trust me. I was enjoying the match. I was like, this is kind of man. I literally, as I was gonna say stick, I went nah.
This is kind of nah.
Is Viscera
just his leg or something, and because the finish was sick, I couldn't do it.
Is Viscera better than Great Khali? Get out of here, man. He's not.
Wait. Khali had another right versus Triple H, though.
This is a toothless giant, bruv. Man's talking about Great Khali, bruv. What are you talking about?
Great Khali's a former world champion. Mabel couldn't win that.
I don't care.
Who was Viscera beaten for a world championship? The only time Viscera had a clear run to be a world champion when it was Big Daddy V, and at that point, he himself knew that things are getting a bit tight. I can't even do this.
He was doing well.
Don't get me wrong. You see, Big Daddy V run. You see when he transformed into that, I was like, you know what? I could potentially be invested in this. The way he's come out, man's doing the whole in my head I was thinking, there's potential for this. As time went on, I thought, this guy's there's nothing here for this guy. He's literally a black Great Khali. That's literally it. Without the word title.
Khali is better than Viscera. Unbelievable.
He's a black Midian, basically.
Unbelievable. I'm sorry. You see Great Khali's spinning heel kick. You know when you run past him, he just
wait. Khali could do a spinning heel kick.
He just lifts up.
Don't lie. Show me the clip. Khali could do a spinning heel kick.
Yeah, but he just lifts up.
Blacks, they put that in the chat. I need to see this. I've never in my 2 eyes. I've never seen this.
It's not a spinning heel kick where he jumped, but it's like.
Okay. I was
like kick, fam. And man wants to compare it to Viscera. Viscera does a spinning heel kick, but you know what? It's all good. It's all love.
He basically said
Viscera. What a mockery. But no worry, it's fine.
You know, there was one thing I said. Talking about big guys here. When I was last on,
tell me you have problems.
One guy.
I have very big problems soon. I'm telling you.
Oh my days. One thing I got to correct though. When on the last episode I was on, when we talked about like top 5 big guys, I said Rikishi. I do like him, but I missed out Mark Henry. And Mark Henry is a top big guy. He has a lot of sick matches. You know what I rewatched the other day? Him versus John Cena. Remember after he did the fake retirement?
Oh yeah.
In that match against John Cena at Money in the Bank, I legit wanted him to win the title. That was a sick match.
I remember that promo.
And his match against Randy Orton. That's one of my actual it'll be in my top 20.
All of the pain.
All the pain. Oh.
Smashed
That's
it.
one of my favorite matches of my life. 100%.
Absolutely smashed it. This Laps guy. Fam, boy, this has been a good. It's good to have 4 out of 5 of the Mandem. Fortunately enough, he couldn't be here, but he should be back next week. Trying to think, what can we end it on today? What question can I leave you guys with?
Who? Okay, I got a question. Who do you think who's in the Hall of Fame should not be there? If you could take away one person from the Hall of Fame, who would you take away and why?
Stance already. You man know my stance. Wilson should never be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, okay, let me not say never. Never is harsh. She shouldn't be there before certain people. I mean, Tori Wilson didn't win the title. I couldn't name one good match from her. All I can name is puppies. That's what I can name. That's it. That's what I can actually name. So, I mean, Tori Wilson is someone I would put in the Hall of Fame because there's tons of people that are put there before her. Yeah. So yeah, Tori Wilson.
Blacks. I know you got someone Blacks. Who would you take away? Go on, Blacks. Go on. I know you got someone.
You might have to go back to me, you know. I need to think about this one.
Cool.
It's going to be a controversial one. I need to think hard.
Blacks, who you got?
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know who to take away from the Hall of Fame. I don't know everyone that's in it. I only know my favorite wrestlers that's in it, and I think they all deserve to be there. So I don't really know who to take away.
No, that's fair.
I think again, on not to upset Anafi, yeah. This wasn't my era, but the Bushwhackers, like nah.
Hey, look at Sam's face.
You're crazy, bruv. It's because you didn't watch the golden era, bruv. You know enough will be offended, you know.
Tell me what they've done, bro.
You know, Bushwhackers won the
Tell me
title.
what they've done.
Bushwhackers actually done their thing, bro.
What did they do?
CODY, they won the tag team championship.
Okay, in my defense, yeah, from what I've seen, sorry to interrupt you, bro, but from what I've seen from the Bushwhackers, they came to WWE to become rich and a comedy act. Outside of WWE, they weren't like that. That wasn't their character. They were hardcore wrestlers. So for me, it's like, okay, cool. You've come to WWE, you've got the bag, and you're thinking, you know, fuck it. Let me just be Eugene before Eugene. That's literally it. Let me just be Eugene before Eugene, and you're doing that, and it's like, I mean, it worked, and fam, they're as legendary as they are now, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, maybe I look too purely from a wrestling stance, but fam, I mean, I get it. Luke Bushwhackers, yeah, and Hulk Hogan, that's one person.
Yeah, Hogan should be lifted. That's your mouth.
Hulk Hogan, get that nigga out of here, fam.
Yeah.
Get that nigga out of here.
Right, so you got, man. I know. You have time to think now. Who would you take away?
I'm looking at him right now, but you know who I'll say? One half of Harlem Heat.
Who?
Booker T's brother. I don't even know who he is.
Wait, what? No.
Behave
So wait, you complain about the Bushwhackers getting taken off, but you take out Harlem Heat.
No, not Harlem Heat. Not
You take out Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat.
I don't know who he is. I'll be honest.
Fam, Bushwhackers ain't better than Harlem Heat.
Nah, they're not. But I just don't know the Stevie Ray guy.
Choose someone else, my friend. We're not accepting that. Choose someone else. Choose someone else. We're not accepting that.
I've been looking through the list.
Man said half a tag team, so cool. We're gonna induct
Pete Rose. Pete Rose.
Okay, that's fair. I'll accept that.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
I'll accept that. Even Donald Trump. I'll take Donald Trump out. Take Donald Trump out. Fuck that nigga, man.
I was gonna take Nikolai Volkov, but I said behave yourself, Sam.
Yeah, Nafi will flog you.
I said flog.
No, I like Nikolai Volkov still. I can't lie. He's hard. He's actually hard.
Laps, it's your time, bro. Who would you take away?
Who I'll take away from the Hall of Fame? Snoop Dogg, man. Why is he in the WWE Hall of Fame?
I'm finished.
Like, he's a celebrity. I don't think WWE should put celebrities in their Hall of Fame. Only wrestlers. What's Snoop Dogg there?
Forget about the celebrities. Let's look at the wrestler. I'm looking at it right now.
As I said, with regards to a wrestler, I don't know who to take out. But Snoop Dogg or any other celebrity in the Hall of Fame needs to be taken out. All of them. They shouldn't be in there. They should be in their own. They're in their own Hall of Fame, in their own industry. They don't need WWEs.
But no, it makes sense.
I'm trying to think who we can go.
Hall of Fame have got some good people there, man. It's really easy to take a lot of guys out, man, to be honest with you. I'm even looking through, I'm like, who can I really keep? What, Kevin Nash? Impossible. Even though he wasn't a great wrestler, impossible.
Hillbilly Jim, should he be there?
Hmm?
Should Hillbilly Jim be there?
Who shouldn't be there?
No, should Hillbilly Jim be there?
I couldn't even properly, bro. So,
Wait, say that again?
say that again, I couldn't hear you properly.
Should Hillbilly Jim be in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, no. That's a Hillbilly Jim.
To be fair, I didn't hear about him till Here Comes the Pain. I don't even lie to you.
Yeah, same.
I didn't hear about him till Here Comes the Pain. Then I had to look back.
I didn't really know too much about him too, to be honest with you. So yeah, probably him. Probably him.
Yeah, fam. Man, let's wrap this up, man. It's been a good episode. I've enjoyed this one. It's been an informative one. Everyone's plugged themselves. It's been Doughboy.
Sam Black, controversial. Sorry, I'm late, but you know, I'm here.
Young Laps still working on the promos. Don't worry, we'll get there.
Lucha V, man. It's good to be back.
It's good to be.
Reveal yourself.
Okay.
Reveal yourself.
Nah, you cannot do that. No. It's safe to be around me. Don't worry. It's all good.
It's been the Wrestling's podcast by the Mandem for the Mandem. Bow.